Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Liz Loves Books. Let's talk about my top 15 favorite books of 2025. We're going to start from 15 and down to 1, so let's get started with number 15. And that book is Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. This is book 2 in the Magnolia Parks universe. I gave this book a 4.5 stars. And I was really excited to get to it because I did enjoy Magnolia Parks, the first book, which I also read this past year, and I gave that 4 stars. But I am a Daisy girl through and through. I thought her characterization was just so good. And Jessa's writing is just so bingeable and easy to read, and the dialogue is so constantly flowing. It's like you never stop to they're just talking forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Kind of like me in my videos. I just don't stop yapping. But I love that in videos. I love that in books. And so that is why this one was able to make it into my top 15. I love, as I said, Jessa's writing, but also just all the characters in this book. There's 3 different POVs we follow. We follow Daisy, our FMC, we follow Christian, our MMC, and then we also follow Daisy's brother, Julian, who is my favorite out of the 3 in this book. He has the least amount of POVs, they're the shortest, but he's also throughout all the other POVs as well, and he is just so nuanced and so complicated, and I know he doesn't have a book, but I wish he really, really did. It's always so impressive when an author can make me love a side character more than the main characters, because that's when you know they actually put effort into every character that's involved, not just the main characters. And that those side characters can stand on their own. So that is one reason why I really, really enjoyed this book this year. Then number 14 is Forged by Malice by Elizabeth Helen. This is book 3 in the Beasts of the Briar series. This is a fantasy romance Why Choose series. And I don't want to describe too much because I don't want spoilers since it is the 3rd book. But the MMC in this book is my favorite out of all of the princes in this series, so I was just really excited to also just get to his book, and I was not disappointed. It was amazing. I can't say much more because spoilers, but if you like fantasy romance, easy writing, a longer series, and Why Choose, definitely pick up the Beasts of the Briar series. They were indie published, and they are now traditionally published, and their books have slowly been coming out republished by Bloom Books. And then number 13 is such a surprise because it was the last book I read of the year. I read it the last couple days of December when I was visiting family in Iowa for Christmas, and that is a thriller called Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanaugh. This was really popular, I believe in 2024 it came out, and I gave this a 4.5 star. And it's really hard for me to give thrillers high ratings. You'll see another thriller on this list later, which is super exciting. Now, it didn't get 5 stars because I did guess one of the twists. Follow a couple different POVs in this book. You follow a detective. You follow a person who has a crime committed against them. And then you follow another person. Oh, yes, it was another person who is involved with the crime, but it didn't happen to them. It happened to a family member of theirs. And I am really wanting to read more of Steve Kavanaugh's books. He has a really huge backlist, and I am hoping that other books by him are going to be just as good as this one. And I'm looking forward to any other new releases he comes out with in the future. So I've got to keep an eye out for him now. Then number 12 is Crash Test by Amy James. This is a queer contemporary F1 racing romance following our 2 MMCs, Travis and Jacob. Travis is a Formula 1 racer and Jacob is a Formula 2 racer, and this just follows the timeline of their relationship, them getting together, them breaking up, them getting back together. It was very will they, won't they situation, but it follows also a terrible crash that our character Jacob has gone through, and Travis trying to deal with all of this horrible things that have happened to Jacob when their relationship has been in secret. So, like, if you've lived heated rivalry, it's not the same, but it's similar. This one, I would say, probably has a little bit more of an intense theme, at least in, like, the book. But, so it is tough, and our character Jacob will piss you off. He made me very upset, especially in the second half of the book. Travis is I love him. Travis is the cutest dude ever. And they do have the Formula One racing elements within it, but doesn't overtake the story, and you won't get confused by, like, terminology from that either. And I just really, really enjoyed this one, and it was a surprise of the year because I hadn't heard of this author. They Crash Test. Please pick it up. It's great. Number 11, I have The Favorites by Lane Fargo. This is another contemporary romance, but following professional ice skaters. This one is toxic and messy, and the characters will make you so angry. Every single one will make you pissed off. But yet, it's kind of like what I talked about with Daisy Hates and Jessa Hastings writing. You just keep reading it. It's not as dialogue heavy as Jessa's books, but there is plenty of dialogue to want to continue to keep reading, and it's kind of like candy. You just want to keep reading it until you're done with the whole thing. This is definitely a book that I would love to be able to reread as well. I feel like it has a lot of rereadability to it because you'll catch a lot of things that you probably didn't notice the first read through, which I love. And now it's making me really want to reread this book again. But it follows our two main characters, Heath and I can never remember our female's name, Katerina, but she's called Kat, and just their journey from childhood all the way through adulthood. So this is kind of a childhood friends to lovers. There is a somewhat like love triangle-esque plot in it, and I'm usually not huge on those, but it wasn't like super intense, in my opinion. Maybe to some others it might be, but it just follows their dynamics and them throughout their lives and all the mistakes that they make and all the decisions that cause good things to happen, bad things to happen. And it's just real life in a book, but with like a little dash of like reality TV drama. So it was really, really great, and please pick it up if you haven't yet. Now we're going to get into my top 10. Number 10 is Enchantra by Kaylee Smith, book 2 in the Wicked Games series. I read this a couple months ago. My friend Case said that I would really enjoy this one even more than Phantasma, and they were correct. And this follows the sister of our FMC in the first book. Her name in this one is Genevieve, and she is basically having questions about what occurred when her mother passed away, and so she goes looking for answers. She stumbles upon a manor in Italy that is owned by the Silver family. This has got like 7 siblings in it, 6 boys, 1 girl, and they are like trapped within this manor, and they can't escape until they compete in these deadly like week-long trials and competitions to try to unalive each other. And then whoever wins that gets to have like freedom for a while the rest of them go down to hell. And it's a little bit of a convoluted plotline, but again, it's a fantasy romance, so there is a really good romance plot in here as well, and it is a little bit spicy, so if you like that, this would be a really good option for you as well. And I really liked Genevieve as a character more than Ophelia in the first book. Genevieve is a little bit more spunky, a little bit more spite to her, a little bit more character than Ophelia had. And I feel like for a book like this, you need that in a main character. And then she was especially able to banter back and forth with our MMC Rowan Silver as well. And my number 9, this is my other thriller book, and that is The Thrashers by Julie Soto. This is a YA mystery thriller. Follows like high school drama, a mystery plot line, a dead classmate, a group of popular kids, and all the drama that goes along with that group. And them, our main character, Jody, who is trying to find out what occurred when one of the friends of the group passes away, and it goes about a year after it occurs, I believe. And I was just so pleasantly surprised by this book, and Covers with Cassie over here on YouTube had recommended it, and so I picked it up, and they gave it 5 stars too, and I've also given it 5 stars. And this was able to like solidify Julie Soto as a new favorite author. Not Another Love Song by Julie Soto. This is one of her contemporary romance series, but it follows 2 professional musicians. One is our MMC Xander Thorne, who is a cellist, and our FMC Gwen Jackson, who plays the violin. They are both members of like this world's Manhattan Pops group. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically a group of professional musicians, but they do a lot of kind of, you know, like Christmas shows and like modern music, but with classical instruments. And it just follows their journey together within the Manhattan Pops and the drama of life and relationships and their histories that were blended together in ways that they didn't realize, and competitiveness. As you can see, I have a lot of books in here that have like competitions of some sort in them. So apparently that is a big theme of my year's reading, and as well as second chances. So this one is not a second chance romance, but a lot of forced proximity, workplace romance. It's just so good, and Julie Soto's writing just reads so easily. And it's just so quick to get through. I mean, they're not very long, her contemporary romances, but I will read anything Julie writes. She is an autobi author for me. Number 7, I have Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. This was the first book I read by Hannah, and it did not disappoint. Everyone said it was going to be amazing, 5 stars, and it was amazing and 5 stars. Another contemporary romance, but this one's great because it has a lot of disability representation. Our FMC has a limb difference, which I thought was really important for me to read because I have a niece who also has limb difference. She is missing her left hand. She was born without it. I loved being able to see that representation in a contemporary series and how it was just a part of the character. It didn't make her any less. She didn't want to get sympathy for it. It was just she lived her life with it, which I loved. And then our MMC also has a limb difference. He is missing his leg from, looks like about right below the knee down, which was also crazy because I have a friend who has pretty much the same exact disability from a motorcycle accident. So the fact of reading this and knowing I have 2 people in my life that have the same disabilities, I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. How weird is that? But this was also different for me because this has the pregnancy trope in it. It's not a spoiler. They talk about that on the back of the book. And I was worried about that because I've never read a book really where there was a pregnancy trope. But oh my god, it was handled so well. The spice in this was also really, really great. And it was cool because it kind of showed like somewhat spice like during pregnancy, which I feel like is not discussed in books very often. And just also the spicy scenes were just so realistic. Like they were like talking. They were saying like, this isn't working, or this is working, or like all the weird, awkward things that occur before it all happens. And I loved our characters here, and I also loved our side characters. Okay, we are now finally into our top 5 books of the year. I loved all of these. These were all 5 stars. And number 5 is Wildcard by Elsie Silver, book 4 in the Rose Hill Ridge series. This is a contemporary romance. This was my favorite book of the Rose Hill series. And I thought it was really good of Elsie to kind of go out of her comfort zone and write a different type of book. This is boyfriend's dad, or ex-boyfriend's dad. And you might hear that and be like, oh my god, this dad, how awful. He's disgusting. No, he's everything. Sebastian, or Bash is his name, and then our FMC is Gwen. So we have 2 Gwens, which is really interesting. Anyway, Sebastian is a firefighter pilot and Gwen is a yoga instructor. And I thought that this book, just the topics and discussions in it were just so important and so mature. That is like the theme of this book. It's just maturity, 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 which obviously you're going to have in an older male main character because he's about 40, I believe. But then our FMC Gwen's about 27, 28, but she's really mature for her age. And you will be rooting for them right from the beginning. even through the part where she is dating the son of the dad. But she doesn't know they're related first. It'll make sense when you read it. So you will not feel bad for her. You will not like hate the dad or her, really. You won't like the ex-boyfriend though. He sucked. Hated him. Again, another like a lot of real life situations mixed with a little bit of like the book fantasy, if you will. I like having that mixture of both because you're still learning things while you're reading and experiencing things, but you're also escaping a little bit. So Elsie has always done a really, really good job of that in her series. Then number 4, I read An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir. This is book 1 in the Ember in the Ashes quartet. I really need to continue on in this series. I absolutely loved this, although this was a book I read in January, so I don't remember much about the plot. So I'm going to read a little bit of the back to you. But it follows, okay, just seeing the names, I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember. Follows our FMC Laya and our MMC Elias. It says, under the Ma-Teal Empire, Defiance is met with death. Laya and her family do not challenge the Empire. They've seen what happens to those who do. But when Laya's brother is arrested for treason, she is forced to make a decision. In exchange for help from rebels who promise to rescue her brother, she will risk her life to spy for them from within the Empire's greatest military academy. There, Laya meets Elias, the school's finest soldier, and secretly its most unwilling. He and Laya will soon realize that their destinies are intertwined and that their choices will change the fate of the Empire itself. I really enjoyed Laya as our character, but I loved Elias. Every time I was in his POV, I was like, let's stay here. I love his POV so much. He was my favorite character in this. There is a lot of other side characters that are really, really important as well. And just the converging of both the storylines together was really, really great. And I know I'm not doing a great job of explaining this book because I read it so long ago, but it's just such good writing. And Sabaa Tahir has such an amazing writing style, but it's also so easy to read, but with a lot of depth to it as well. So if you haven't picked it up, I would suggest picking it up. Number 3, very similar to Wildcard by Elsie Silver in the theming and the genre and the topics. We have Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage, book 4 in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. Now, this series was like a cowboy romance series, although these two characters, they're not involved with like cowboy anything. So it's kind of funny that this was my favorite. But Lila has such good, easy writing. As well as our MMC Dusty and our FMC Cam, and they are a second chance romance. Again, another theme of my reading in 2025. Second chance romance is now my new fave. Basically, our MMC Dusty is everything that you would want in a male main character. He's tattooed. He's just so caring and so attentive, but he's also blonde. So like that was crazy for me because I'm not into like blonde characters and men and all that. But he made me love a blonde man, so that was fun. And the pining and yearning in this from Dusty is top tier. Cam like just was like, I don't think he likes me. I don't think he likes me. And I'm like, girl, are you blind? He adores you. Like, top tier level adore. Like, are you dumb? Sometimes she did make me mad because she was just so against it for a while. And she also has a kid as well, so she's a single mom, and Dusty is just trying to get involved with her child too in like the best way. And all the walls that Cam is putting up, Dusty slowly breaks down. Oh, the spices are really, really good in this one as well. And it was just a beautiful book all around, along with a beautiful cover. Oh, and then another thing in this that was really good is because it's a little bit of a past and present timeline. In the past timeline, there's like letters and messages and texts and emails that Cam and Dusty communicate through because Cam's family does not want them to continue to be together. But Dusty has never stopped trying to find her and get to her again. I loved it. My number 2 of the year was Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wang. This is a standalone fantasy, which we love. This book has so many things in it that I just love it. Like, you just need to read it. Like, that's all I can tell you. Can I even describe anything about it? No. I just love it. I really want to reread it. Again, high rereadability. I want to annotate it. Maybe not this copy because it's sprayed edges, but we will see. But basically, a little bit of a description of it says, the first woman ever admitted to a prestigious order of mages unravels a secret conspiracy that could change the practice of magic forever in the standalone dark fantasy. So another dark fantasy that I've really, really enjoyed. We're following our FMC. Her name is Sayana, and she has basically devoted her entire life to the study of magic. And she is trying to become the first woman ever admitted to the High Magistracy at the University of Magics and Industry. It's unheard of. Women don't do this type of job. She ends up getting in, but she is basically dealing with a lot of sexism on her end because she is a woman. Sayana basically becomes kind of acquaintances with our MMC, whose name is Tamil, and he is a part of like the lower class group that everybody is really horrible to. There's a lot of racism, classism, sexism in this book, but there's also a lot of racism and classism from our FMC Sayana. Even though she is dealing with a form of discrimination, she is also discriminating against other people as well. So she's a very morally gray character. She is my favorite character of the whole year, even though this is my second book, which is interesting. But basically she becomes a high mage when she's accepted into this college or industry, and Tamil is just a janitor at this facility, and he ends up kind of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he ends up becoming her assistant. She's basically using him to prove to the men in the industry that she can do this, and she can even do it with just an assistant who absolutely knows nothing about this field or profession. The University of Magics and Industry, everything they do with their magic runs the entire city. And so they're really important in that aspect. And the magic system in this is so well done, considering it's only a standalone. Like, you have all machineries of like magic that are used in here, and our Sayana just develops so much as a character. Like, I went from being annoyed with her to hating her to feeling sorry for her to loving her to crying over her, all in this standalone book. Please read this if you haven't. Then finally, my number one book of the year, I've talked about it constantly, that is Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. This was a new author to me this year. I had an e-arc of this book, read it, absolutely adored it. And C.G. Drews is now an auto-buy author for me. This is a YA contemporary book too, which is crazy that that's my number one of the year. I read this in, I think, February, March, and nothing has beat it. And as well as Blood Over Brighthaven. I read this in February, so these top two were never beat out, which is really cool. This is a YA horror specifically. It's a contemporary, but horror as well, and it follows our two MMCs, Andrew and Thomas, and they are the best of friends, but both of them are slightly pining for the other without the other one knowing, so this is also a queer. It's cool because there is illustrations in this book as well, interspersed throughout it, of drawings, because Andrew, our main character, he writes these really horrific short stories, and then Thomas illustrates these stories that Andrew has written. And that's a really big plot of the book. But Thomas and Andrew, they don't have like the best lives, especially Thomas. He kind of deals with somewhat absent parents, slightly abusive parents. And Andrew is just very extremely shy and has a lot of social anxiety and things that he deals with there. So there is that representation as well, which is really, really great. Andrew's fairy tales that he writes and that Thomas illustrates are basically coming to life and harming everyone at their school that they're in. And so they have to try to stop these evil monsters that have come to life, and along with figuring out their sexualities and their lives. And it's just so incredibly written. It's such a like lush, atmospheric, gothic horror. And C.G. Drews is just a master at writing this type of story. I'm also part of C.G. Drews' Patreon, which their Patreon is absolutely amazing because they update you on all the books that they're writing, and you get sneak peeks of writing, of art, of synopsises. You also can be part of like their mailing newsletter where you get free art prints, and it's so cool. A really amazing autistic author to follow and support. So that is all of my top 15 books that I read in 2025 that I absolutely adored and loved. I am tired now. So I am going to leave you here, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye, guys.